Shalom. Real quick, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Rakakwadash Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video Still One Step Closer to the ... You know, like in poetry, inside joke. Anyway, I just started watching this video, came up in my notifications, GMS Inquire early too. As you can see, I subscribed. And I caught this part right here. I didn't really pay that much attention to this part, but I caught, so I got to watch the whole thing. I got to watch this over again. But then as soon as he came up, I wasn't really listening to what he said. I just said in my mind, this is the biggest unsi. Unsi, that's sort of like pig Latin. Unsi in America, if not the planet Earth. I mean, the ace poon coon, that's him. The premier unsi. So anyway, I'm gonna let it play. This is fair use. I put the closed captions or the subtitles, and I also slowed it down to half the speed, which is 0.5, which is going to sound slow as hell. And I'm going to read along with it. It says, Representative, just take a listen with the bipartisan, if you don't know, meaning Democrats and Republicans coming together and agreeing on something. So let's go.
Bipartisan Genius Act.
So just take a listen with the bipartisan, meaning Democrats and Republicans agree on this act. Genius Act.
We can do more than just pass a bill. We can deliver results for the American people. We can bring clarity for a sector that's been clouded by uncertainty, and we can make it known. The United States will lead, not follow, in the digital asset revolution.
Oh, Revelation 13, 11 on down. And there was a lamb that rose up that had two horns and spake as a dragon. You just heard what he said. The United States will lead, not follow, the digital asset revolution. The digital asset revolution. If you're down with GMS and you an active member that's out there on the highways and the byways you studying, you know what it's talking about. This is pretty much code. This is just one step closer to the MOTB. It says the United States will lead, not follow, the digital asset meaning money, revolution.
Chairman of the Senate.
Folks, I think we're going to see this bill make it through the House very...
Oh, it's definitely going to make it because it's fulfillment of prophecy. Hey, I'm thinking about IUIC, ICPK, and others that say that the MOTB is not, and they can't see it coming. You mean to tell me you can't? That, which means you're not prophets. You should be able to see it coming crystal clear, and you're supposed to tell the other people. See, the thing with, like, for example, the IUIC, the leader of the IUIC, not the leadership, the leader, the king of IUIC, we all know who he is. He'll say something and they'll just take notes. Okay, he said it. That's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to break it down. They don't think. They're taught how to think, not to think. They don't have critical minds. Whatever he says, they just go along with it.
Fast, because as we've been talking about on this podcast, there are geopolitical implications.
Geo means the world. Geopolitics is world politics. The whole world is talking about this attack that Israel committed to Iran and the retaliation. And they're using propaganda to kind of make the people of Iran the bad guys.
Here for the U.S. dollar. As we saw Senator Haggerty say on CNBC just about a few weeks ago, that stablecoin issuers will be
Stablecoin, that's like Bitcoin. That's a digital coin, digital dollar.
The largest holders of U.S. Treasuries by 2030.
I believe it's before that. But if it's 2030, we got a long ride before we get the hell out of here. Matter of fact, I hope that they hurry up and push it. I don't want them to drag this no more. I want them to go ahead and do away with the paper dollar and set up ultimately a global cyber dollar or digital dollar. Like you have, they've been talking about for a couple of years, the CBDC, central bank digital currency, where every time you get a dollar or $100 and you get your check, it all has an identification marker, so they know where you went to at what time. If you went to BJ's, for example, I always use BJ's. You buy 10 items. They know exactly how many items you had. They know exactly what the items are. They know, which sets up a pattern. And they know what time you purchase it. They know if you went to this particular gas station, you gassed up. It's all digital.
Just think about that. Right now, other countries like Japan, China, and others have been buying U.S. debt. And of course, that helps the U.S. with the U.S. dollar, which is the world reserve currency.
Yeah, it keeps the dollar propped up when you have these other nations buy bonds and so forth, buy dollars.
See, so if they don't have anyone to buy the debt, they're gonna run into problems, right? Because this fiat system, they have to keep issuing debt. Now you have a brand new way for folks to do this, and you're going to have banks and different financial companies and even just smaller companies being able to issue stable coins.
Digital currency.
And of course, these stable coins will be distributed globally. So you see that.
So according with the UNC did, he said the U.S. is going to lead the pack. They're going to be leaders, not followers. Go back to Revelation 13:11 on down. A lamb came up with 2 horns and spake as a dragon. They're going to force this to you. You're going to have to get used to dealing with digital currency.
There's a whole new untapped market here, and those folks by the legislation are gonna have to hold the U.S. Treasuries. So I hope you see what's happening here to set up for the future of money and the US dollar continuing as the world reserve currency. So that's what
Barak Yahweh.
So the only difference is eventually that stable coin, that digital coin, in order for you to buy and sell, you would have to get a physical chip in your right hand, left hand, forehead. Give me a second. I'm gonna just let this play.
Barak Yahweh Shai. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Bakakwadash. Double honors to the men that taught us the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which is our apostles and our elders of the Church of Great Millstone, who are ruling well. Shalom, peace and love to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. I want to do a real quick video dealing with the USD stablecoin, which they have something called the Genius Act, and it was just passed by Congress, and it's advancing on to the Senate, and they're saying that it's a big possibility that it's going to go through, which it impacts and affects the future of
It's going to go through. That's one step closer to the MOTB.
the USD, or the United States dollar, as the United States government is exploring ways to digitize money and to make it more compatible, all right, out there in the world. All right, which, I mean, even the name itself, the Genius Bill, which the word genius is defined as exceptional, intellectual, all right, or creative power or other natural ability.
Yeah, you're a genius in something.
A person who is exceptionally intelligent or creative, either genuinely or in some particular respect, very clever and ingenious. All right, and we understand, according to the scriptures, those that are truly in control of the monetary system, that being the rich elite banking families, they are Edomites, and the Edomites are the embodiment of the serpent today. And what does it say in the scriptures concerning the serpent? And I will put enmity, 3 and 12, Genesis 3 and 12. Matter of fact, Genesis 3 and 1. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh power had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath the Most High said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Now, just grabbing the scripture to deal with the word subtle, and to pretty much just give you a example, of how cunning
The serpent deceived the woman into taking it. It's no different than, or it's analogous to the beast in Revelation 20, that they're going to deceive you to take the mark. They're not going to say, oh, yeah, this is the mark of the beast. They're not going to tell you that. As a matter of fact, there's going to be a point when we make these videos, they're going to take our videos down. They're going to take our videos down because they're going to get the memo that anybody that's talking about the MOTB, you know what the MOTB stand for? It's a micro C hip. We gotta delete those videos. So they're going to start deleting. That's why, if you notice, we're talking code. We're talking code, but it's going to come. And it's right at the door. Now, what I did was, did I say Genius Act? I looked up Genius Act, right? So Senator Unsi said that the U.S. will not follow, but will lead. The Genius Act refers to the guiding and establishing national innovation for U.S. stablecoin, which is a digital currency act, a piece of U.S. legislation focused on regulating stablecoin or digital currency, a type of cryptocurrency pegged to the value of another asset, like the dollar. It's going to be equal to the dollar or equal to gold. like the US dollar. The act aims to create a federal framework for stable coins like bitcoins, digital currency, establishing rules for their assurance, reserve requirements, and other aspects to ensure stability and consumer protection. So it's going to work out for you, right? Anyway, let me come back over here. Let me let you listen to a little bit more. I hadn't listened to this, so.
And how shrewd and how subtle these individuals are.
This proves that Nate is not a prophet at this time, unless the Most High wake him up. Because he guiding the people. He's deceiving his followers. Because every time we make a video on the MOTB and what it actually represents, he'll make a counter to it. This is why we say we believe he sold out. If you can't see it, that means the Most High close your eyes to it. Or you can see it clearly, but they gave you a bag.
I remember these same ones that figured out a way to centralize bank within the United States, although they don't call it a centralized bank, they call it the Federal Reserve, despite the Americans back then at that time not wanting a central bank within the United States of America. So they develop a way in different schemes and plots on how to federalize or create a Federal Reserve, which basically gave them the power to just create money out of illusions, out of thin air.
Fiat money, fiat currency.
All right? Which leads to a bunch of debt. So the word there for subtle is H6175, which is Irawam, and it says subtle, shrewd, crafty, sly, shrewd, prudent. All right, they're very cunning, very shrewd, and very cunning. So, anyways, genius is also a acronym. Now, I want to find this real fast. All right, I want to go to the acronym for genius. So bear with me, Baba Kusha. All right, where does the Genius Act gets its name? The Genius Act, related to stablecoin regulations, is an acronym for guiding and establishing national innovation for U.S. stablecoins. The name reflects the bill's intention to provide a regulatory framework for stablecoins in the United States, aiming to foster innovation while establishing necessary guidelines.
No, I read that too. I didn't know he was going to read it. I read it into Google. I simply put in, I pegged in the Genius Act meaning, and that's what it gave me.
All right. However, the importance to distinguish this form of stable Genius Act, which was a different proposal bill related to requiring presidential candidates to undergo a medical exam and publicly disclose the results. The name of the Stable Genius Act was a backronym for standardizing testing and accountability before large elections, giving electors necessary information for unistructure selections, and was a reference to a tweet by President Donald Trump. And I won't be surprised if they put that out there just to slide this through. All right, because once again, these devils are cunning and they are sly, and they pretty much pushed this through while the United States was distracted by the different riots that were going on because of the the immigrants, all right, as they would call them, which would be Issachar, all right, so-called Mexicans, and other immigrants that are of the Northern Kingdom. So while they were distracted by things such as the No Kings protests and different wars and R. Kelly and Diddy and the man unaliving his wife on Facebook Live and whatever other distractions they put out there, they pretty much pushed this through.
Something that Negroes will flock to because they're stupid. Not too many more Edomites know about the MOTB and what it really means than Jake. All right?
All right, and this will be very, very, very impactful, all right, when it comes down to the USD. All right, this is called the USD stablecoin, or the UST, all right, stablecoin. And basically it's just digitizing money. All right, now they're pegging it to the United States dollar because they say that regular cryptocurrencies are too volatile, which means that the price of goods if purchased with the cryptocurrency can be one price right now at 10:10 a.m. and then at 11 a.m. it could be another price. All right, because the prices or the crypto itself fluctuates. But if they peg it to the actual dollar, all right, it will pretty much keep the same value as the dollar. Although the dollar itself is volatile, it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. The dollar goes up and down based upon inflation and deflation.
Lose its value as fast as crypto can. But however, this whole system, this FDR, or Federal Reserve system itself needs to be scrapped. All right, it needs to be scrapped. It needs to be done away with because the system itself causes the value of the dollar being able to be printed out of thin air to pretty much lose its purchasing power, leading to prices of goods having the illusion that they go up. Although the prices of goods or goods itself, the prices are fixed and they stay the same, the purchasing power of the dollar decreases. All right, another thing about stablecoin is this right here, which I just recently found this out, that stablecoins allows holders to pretty much indirectly own U.S. debt. And it makes all of the sense that they would come through with this, which is very genius. I give them that. It's very cunning, just like coming up with the Federal Reserve System.
It ain't all that cunning. You just got a lot of dummies out there. It ain't really all that. They're not really all that cunning. They just put it out there, and they know the intelligence. Who said this? You can never overestimate the intelligence of an American. Somebody help me out. Look for it. I don't know if it was P.D. Bonham. One of them guys said that.
In the fiat currency system, which you print money out of thin air and you make people pay taxes on it. Then after you've paid taxes on it, even the banks borrow money. You go and get money or a loan from a bank and they print money out of thin air, and here it is, you have to pay back that money that they printed out of thin air, which came from nothing. And on top of that, they add interest on top of it. And they love it when you can't pay your interest back, because that allows them to come through and seize hard assets. So they'll seize your car, they'll seize your house, and any other thing that you have that's valuable.
Yeah, this happened to me, I believe it was 2005 maybe. I had from a bank, I had an account with the bank, and they gave me a card. They gave me other cards, but they gave me a credit card for $10,000. They said, this is a $10,000 credit card. And I think they said it was a 7% interest rate, which is not great, but it's good. 7% is better than 29%. So I agreed to it. and they sent me the card. When I got the card, they said, "Oh, your interest rate is 8.25%." So I said, "I ain't gonna use this card." It had $10,000 on it. I didn't use it once. Took about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years. They sent me a nasty letter saying, if you don't start using this card by the end of the month, we're going to cut your account. So I let them cut the account. Now this is what happened. That $10,000 came out of thin air. What made it worth anything to them is the fact that they use it because they get the interest that I got to pay on it. So they sent me a nasty letter because they didn't make no money out of me. They can't unless they said a yearly annual fee, which I would have said, no, I'm not taking that. Fuck you. You know? I had a bunch of cards. The first card I counted was 2000. This was year 99, whatever. My first card. And this, you go to this place and to you it's free money until the bills come. So I maxed that card out. It was 2000. I maxed it out, but I paid it off. But I had other cards, which I might have had a couple of hundred on it, maybe 400 on one, maybe 300 on another. So I said, I'm going to pay all these cards off. It took me a while. And then I finally paid off the $2,000 one. And I got this one card that I don't even use it. I really don't need to use it. But every once in a while, they'll send me a nasty letter. Look, if you don't use this card, we're going to cut. And I'll buy something for $40. And I don't even pay interest because I pay it, you know. I don't let interest build up on it at all. See, if you use your credit card to purchase something and you pay it, I believe it's within 30 days, there's no interest applied to it. It's all slick. And see, Jakes get caught up into that because they don't know the money system. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. And you can watch the rest of this video. Shalom, on to the next shalom.